Welcome in, everybody, on this Monday morning to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I am your host, Devin, who's not having a bad Saturday himself. You guys all know that we record these episodes a few days early before we release these, but I can't complain about my Saturday, really my past week, I should say. I mean, this month of March in general has just been treating me well. We're getting a lot of good movies, good shows that I'm enjoying. Just went to a card show the past weekend, which was a ton of fun. Got some really good deals. So I'm having a ton of fun with that. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jaden, who just recently got out of the theater of watching Project Hail Mary. How are you doing today on this Saturday?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling good, as you said. Just got done watching, I think, an all-time great sci-fi movie. I went into it. What really sold me is when people started to get to talking about how they thought it was better than Interstellar. You know how I feel about Interstellar. That's my favorite movie of all time. So it's one of the best
early
sci-fi
reactions.
movies.
How does it compare? Like first initial thoughts.
It's so hard for me to put it above Interstellar because I just hold that movie so close to my heart.
Yeah.
I think it's just perfect, but if Interstellar to me is like a 9.9, 9.8, I think Project Hail Mary could be like a 9.7. I think it's really good. I think it's that good. I think it's emotional, like Interstellar. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's funny. It's fun. It's definitely way more funnier than Interstellar. Yeah. It's amazing CGI, just like Interstellar. It's a great movie. Ryan Gosling, had a performance of a lifetime. People are saying his best performance ever. I think it probably could be.
Yeah.
It is an insane movie. Great movie.
Yeah, I'm excited. Tomorrow I'm going to check it out myself, so I'm excited to get into that. But we got a loaded episode for you guys. We are continuing our rankings today. It'll be our top 10 cornerbacks. Just having a little bit of a brief conversation before we got into this episode about that. So I'm excited to see what we got. We got some trade news with some big receivers around the league we want to get into as well. But you guys know the drill, how we start these episodes off with pregame talk. What do we got today?
So today I wanted to talk about NFL expansion, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on NFL expansion? And then I'll elaborate more as you answer that initial.
I'm assuming that we're talking about this because also the NBA is looking like they're also going to be expanding within the next few years.
Definitely a lot closer than NFL. But
yeah, which is so interesting just overall. The last time there was an expansion in the NBA, I think was '02 or something with the Bobcats, something like that. So it's something that's
the same with the NFL, I believe.
Yeah, right. So it's something that we have never personally watched. I mean, that's the year we were born, so we've never really seen something like that. But I'm not opposed to it. I'm all for change. I'm all for something that's improving the game. Even something as small as when the Commanders changed their name. I remember in my head thinking oh, dude, I'm never gonna be able to get over that. It's always gonna be the Redskins, and then it's the command, it's just normal now. So I think it would be the same way for an expansion. I would feel a little weird at first about the team, but I mean, I'd be all for it. And I think the draft would be a ton of fun when you got two teams going back and forth drafting players. Now, I know in the NBA, and they're trying to change the rule to make it different, but in the NBA, you can only draft one player from each team. Once you draft a player from that team, it's no longer on the board. With the NFL, I wonder how many, what would that number be? Would it be like 3 to 4 from every team? Because I mean, there would be 32 teams you're essentially picking from, and you got to build out a roster. So that'd be interesting. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it's a little more needed for the NBA because they have 30 opposed to the NFL having 32. So I wouldn't mind it, but yeah. What
Yeah,
else were you saying
I
you're gonna
mean,
add?
I was just curious. Do you think there's enough talent in the league to have an extra two teams, potentially four teams?
I that's a tough one because I think yes and no. I think you see a lot of teams out there where, I think we're depthy. Like, look at the quarterback position. I think we have probably 20 to maybe even more quality quarterbacks in the league. But we also have around like 10 that are starting that like really shouldn't be. You
That's
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying. I
So
think
it's
it gets
like,
really rough at the quarterback position.
yeah, and I think, but then again, you look at receiver, or you look at positions like receiver, where it's like, man, we have so many receiver twos, receiver threes around the league that I think could go to other teams and really just thrive as players. You know what I mean? I think you look at really any of the receiver twos in the league, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, Jordan Addison, all these guys around the league. I think if they were receiver ones somewhere, they could definitely have some better production. And even like running backs, we see so many running back duos in the league, and they could go elsewhere and thrive. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the more and more I'm thinking about it, I think I was kind of looking at it from the NBA's perspective a little too much. Maybe I wouldn't be so for it just because I think that's a lot of players that you're adding. And also then you start talking about like uneven divisions and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
See,
would be weird.
there's a couple of things I seen, like ideas where like they condense the conferences. They get rid of some divisions. Maybe they only make it, I think, 2 divisions in each conference, and it'd be 8 to 9 teams per division. I believe that's what I
Wow.
saw. Which I mean, mathematically, if you add 2 teams, I think in each conference, one division would have to have 8 teams, and another division would have to have 9 to make that mathematically
Yeah.
work. It still would be kind of off. It's like that 32 team is like set perfectly for
Yeah.
our league. But yeah, I'm also looking. I looked up the rule like with the last expansion draft. So it was the Texans selected roughly 10 to 12 players in the expansion draft, and then they automatically received the first overall pick.
Yeah, I do
And
remember
we
that
know,
part.
yeah, we know who they selected with that.
Right.
But I wonder how it would work with multiple teams, because they definitely 100% would not just add one team again.
Yeah. No,
They would
I don't
add
think so.
2, possibly
Right.
even 4, if they wanted to create another division. That's the one
Yeah.
I saw where they could add 4. And that kind of goes into this next part where, do you think the expansion should be domestically, like in the U.S., or internationally? Because that's a talk.
Yeah.
London, Berlin,
Right.
Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, they've been playing games there. There's talks of it being an international expansion, which I think that'd be super interesting and honestly good for the sport, just building, building the popularity of the sport, but also like, man, I don't know, like
The
that it's just
travel.
the travel, the different time zones. I feel like that'd be just such a
Yeah.
weird thing to get used to for the players.
Yeah, I think I don't know because I'm so back and forth and doing something like an expansion. Just it has so many layers to it. I before I start getting off topic, I'll answer your first question you just asked. I think I would prefer it to be in the U.S. I think as cool as it is that the NFL is expanding and going to these different countries and whatnot. I don't know if it makes much sense for the players. I think it's cool to continue playing these games in different locations and expanding the game. But the team out there, I don't know. I feel like that creates a lot because you're having, one team go from one side to the other, and it could affect the players, especially considering like what if you're on a short week one of these times, you know what I mean? So that part, I think I'd prefer to keep it, locally in the U.S. But as I was saying, like with it creating so many questions, like when you were mentioning, the 8 to 9, divisions or teams per division, it's like, would you just only play your teams in your division 2 times? Like, is that it? I guess that wouldn't be like that bad, but also it limits, like the different types of matchups we'd see. You know what I mean? So that would be a little bit like odd to me. I think the NFL is at a fine spot overall, personally. You know, if a team wanted to change their location, that's a different story. I wouldn't recommend that for certain teams. As a Raider fan, I sure as hell hate that they moved from Oakland. But yeah, I don't know. I think the NFL is in a solid spot. I think for the NBA, it makes a ton of sense, and I'm excited to see that. I think we're going to get that within the next, 5 years. There's even talks of it being in the next 2 years. So I'm excited on that part. But for our NFL, I think they're at a really good spot. I really don't know if they should touch it at all. Just my opinion. I mean, do you really, would you be a fan of it? Or I know you've said a little bit like it doesn't really make as much sense for the NBA because I think we're in a good spot. But would you prefer that, or do you think you're still a fan of the 32?
I think it'd be cool to obviously have the teams, but it's just, I'm glad I'm not the one that has to work on figuring out the schematics of this, but it just seems like such a headache
like a lot. Yeah.
To add these teams into, the schedules for the next season. And I don't know. I just feel like it'd just be such a headache.
Right. And I mean, shit, the NFL already has enough trouble trying to set these schedules with these Thursday night games we be getting. Just absolute snooze fest after snooze fest. But yeah, that was a great pregame talk as always. I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in to some trade news that we got going around the NFL. Where do you want to start talking off this A.J. Brown news or the Jalen Waddle?
You could start with the older one, I guess, the Waddle news. I don't know which one came first. I think Waddle news.
I think they came out around the same time, but yeah, we'll go ahead. I mean, this is the official trade that we got. The other one is more of just some rumors. Jalen Waddle is a Denver Bronco. The Broncos are giving up a 2026 first-round pick and a third and fourth-round pick. My initial reaction to this trade was that feels like a lot. A first, a third, and a fourth for Jalen Waddle felt like a lot. But then I really started to sit back and think it's the end of the first round. It's number 30 overall, a third and fourth-round pick where actually I think I can pull up really quickly where those potential picks would be. So Miami is stacked with picks this year. They have 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick. What is this? 4 third-round picks? So I'm going to assume that Denver Bronco pick is, one of these 2, either 90 or 94. And then the fourth-round pick of 130. It's like I would say 80% chance you draft a player as good as Jalen Waddle. I would say that's pretty slim. I would give it an 80% chance that you don't, is what I was saying there. So I like it for the Broncos. They definitely need receiver help. And I think a receiving duo of Courtland Sutton and Jalen Waddle is definitely solid. Waddle is a guy that can certainly help Bo Nix, a guy that likes to throw the ball short, and Jalen Waddle is able to excel in that spot. Now, the one part that does concern me about this is Bo Nix is statistically and eye test-wise one of the worst deep ball throwers in the league, and Jalen Waddle excels at that. He was incredible when he was targeted deep down the field this past year. So that's the one part of this trade where I'm like, I'm a little iffy on it, but overall, I do like the fit for Denver. And, I mean, a team that was 1 game away from the Super Bowl and probably would have made it if their quarterback didn't, get hurt on the second to last play of the game. I think this is a huge get for them, especially when you look at their offseason.
I think also, too, Waddle is such a dynamic player where obviously that's at his best and that's where you want to do with him is make him a deep threat. But he also – excels in, the medium, the short, because he's so fast. He's so good after they catch. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think, it's not like they're only getting some deep threat out of Waddle. Yeah, they could use 100%. Him in so many different ways. I mean, Waddle, we saw how he was played his rookie season.
Yeah, so I literally was about to say that. I was about to pull up the numbers just off the top because I remember he broke the rookie reception record his first year. Yeah, I mean 104 catches, 1,000 yards, and only averaged 9.8 per reception. So they pretty much specifically used him in that way.
They played his ass like Jarvis Landry.
Yeah. That's it. Now, this is interesting. I wonder if this stat would be true. Now, obviously, there would have to be a minimum like reception for this. This might be one of the biggest jumps in yards per reception I've ever seen. Rookie year at 9.8. His sophomore year, he led the league at 18.1. He almost doubled his yards per reception. That is nuts.
I'm trying to think of people who've had lower, like a lower yard per reception, and then I'm trying to think
yeah, that's interesting. Let me see if I can.
I don't know. He could even like hit that.
Wan'Dale Robinson, I think from this past year, was someone who was in that same vessel. He averaged 11 per reception. The year before that, it was 7.5 on 93 catches. He had 93 catches and he didn't even hit 700 yards. That's crazy. But I mean, Waddle is leagues above, I should say, of a player like Wan'Dale. But yeah, and overall, I mean, just a great get for the Broncos and a fan base that was certainly losing their mind considering their offseason and free agency. And, they give up their first round pick, so they have nothing to look forward to on that Thursday. But yeah, this is, I guess before we get into this A.J. Brown news, I wanted to ask this, and I mean, we can even bring it up on our mock draft episode once we get to that. The Dolphins now join the Browns, I want to say the Jets. Like there's a lot of teams in this, draft cycle that have 2 first-round picks. It potentially could have been the Raiders if, the Ravens didn't do what they did. But with these teams that have 2 first-round picks, I was curious, what team, I guess it's a 2-part, what team do you think is set up as far as to hit on their first-round picks, and which team do you feel like won't hit? Like which team do you feel the most confident, okay, I think they're going to walk away with 2 good players, and which team do you think like, I don't really know if I'm feeling, maybe the range that they're picking in, the potential players they're linked to? And I can even, let me pull this up for sure, just so I can see all of the teams. So the Jets have 2 first-round picks. The Browns have 2 first-round picks. The Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. The Dolphins have 2 first-round picks. Is that everybody? 1, 2.
The Rams.
No, they traded it.
Oh,
they
that's
traded
right.
to the
That's
Chiefs.
right.
It's Miami, KC, Cleveland, Jets, Cowboys. It's 5 teams. Which of those teams do you think has the highest likelihood of hitting on their 2, considering where they're picking at and maybe their track record? And which team do you feel the least confident about out of those 5?
I think there's an obvious right answer for the one that's going to hit, and that's going to be Kansas City.
Yeah,
they're in such a good position to just take one of the top players.
Yeah, that number 9 is such
draft.
a sweet spot.
There was a while where Jeremiah Love was kind of mocked to falling there, but it seems like recently he's kind of getting mocked higher. Yeah. Like I'm seeing a lot of mocks where like the Titans are taking him. Mm-hmm. And I could see maybe even like the Saints, but I don't know. I haven't seen that one, but
do you want to hear mine that I don't like? And maybe this is not fair, and this has nothing to do with track record, but I don't know. I don't like their location of each of their picks, and that's the Browns. I don't know why I've been feeling like that. I don't know why I don't love that number 6 spot. 24 is fine, but I don't know. I just don't love.
I mean, they're almost certainly going to be taking one of the tackles with that pick.
Yeah, right? I would assume so. But.
And 24, like, I mean, they're a team that has a lot of needs too. I think they could be all right. I don't hate it.
Maybe Dallas.
I mean, they hit on the draft. They hit on the draft last year.
Yeah, they killed the draft last year.
Yeah, Swessinger, Mason Graham,
I saw I saw like the thing that NFL posted of that second round run. Like the first pick was Swessinger. I think it was like Judkins was in there, Shuck was in there, Jaden Higgins was in there. Like I think it was like 7 or 8 picks in a row to start the second round were like all really good and productive rookies. But yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to ask that when the Raiders made their trade. Like that was a question that I wrote down ready to ask around our mock draft because I'm like, I think the easy answer would be the Raiders because I think you walk away with Fernando and then you just go BPA at 14. But I think with these teams, it's kind of all, fluctuated around. Like, you have a team picking as high as 6, but then you also have Dallas where it's like their picks are really close to each other, 12 and 20. It's like that could be a difference-changing draft for them, depending on what they take there. But yeah, I think I'd agree. I think KC, would be the most likelihood. So let's before we jump to the AJ Brown, let's just quickly rank these 5. How would I word it? Who do you think is going to walk out with the best draft of the first round of these 5? I think we can collectively agree KC's 1.
Yeah, KC 1.
I kind of like the Jets at 2.
See, that's where I was kind of not liking them.
Because you think about it, they're walking away with, probably Arvell Reese at number 2. And then at number 16, they can really just go BPA. And a lot of mocks have had Mekhi Lemon there, and if they walk away with those 2 type of players, I mean, that's some people's wide receiver 1. If they're able to walk away with potentially the best defensive player and best receiver, I like that a lot. I mean, would you say Dallas is set up more, or I guess we haven't even really talked about Miami too much, and they just acquired their second first round pick.
I do like Miami too.
Too.
I mean, damn.
It's tough.
I don't know. I just don't think there's a lot that separates these. I don't hate Cleveland either. Honestly, I think it's just by far and away. It's gonna be Kansas City that's gonna knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
And then who was the 5th one I'm missing?
It's KC, Cleveland, Dallas, Jets, Miami.
Dallas. That's the one we didn't really talk about. Where is Dallas at?
It's they're 12 and 20 because they got Green Bay's pick.
Yeah.
It's I'll read it to you if you don't have it. It's KC 9 and 29. Cleveland is 6 and 24. Dallas is 12 and 20. The Jets are 2 and 16, and Miami is 11 and 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dallas isn't bad either. I mean, they could take a corner at that 12.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'd hope for them to do.
20, I don't know really what they would do.
Yeah, they can consider interior offensive lineman probably would be my bet, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna have our draft episode very soon. The actual NFL draft is just around the corner, so we'll definitely get talking into that because we'll be cycling through picks. I'm first pick, Jaden second pick, and so on. But yeah, that was an interesting topic. I was just curious
because I be first.
I mean, because you're probably gonna have the Raiders take someone they shouldn't. Okay.
Ty Simpson, welcome to Las Vegas, baby.
But yeah, I was curious, man. I really wish the Raiders had 2 first round picks so I could talked about that more.
I'll say Kansas City, Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I like Cleveland at 2.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I wasn't a fan, but yeah, you do.
3. 3. I'm gonna go Miami, then Dallas, and then Jets. Honestly.
Okay. Wow, Jets at
I got
5.
Jets
I
last.
I think Jets would be. That's funny because I think we'd swap 2 and 5.
Because
I
I
think
think they
I'd go
could
Cleveland
make
at
the
5
wrong pick there. Like, I'm
at
seeing a lot
16.
of David Bailey's, and I think David Bailey's a good player, but
Oh, you're saying at 2?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think they
Yeah,
could
I'd
make
be
the wrong pick
shocked.
at 2.
I'd be shocked. That would be. I mean, I'm not here to say David Bailey's a surefire, like going to be bad player in the league or something like that, but I'd be
I just
shocked.
don't think he's a second overall pick worthy player.
Yeah,
But I
definitely
mean, you're
not.
just kind of taking, on the potential there, him being so
Yeah.
athletic. But I think he's a little one dimensional. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think
We'll
they
have to
could
see.
make the wrong pick at 2. That's why I
We'll
don't
have to
like
see.
it. But
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
definitely dive back into that once we get to our draft episode. But the other trade news, I guess, we want to talk about before we get into these rankings, the Eagles and Patriots have an agreement in place to trade A.J. Brown post June 1st, per Ricky Scoops. Now, this is not a 1,000,000% this is happening, whatever. I know a lot of people aren't believing this. I've seen some, reputable sources quote this and say similar things. And it's a trade that I think a lot of people have seen coming. And if it does, it's no shock to any of us. I think if we were to have done, a segment or an episode talking about A.J. Brown potential destinations, Patriots would be number one, reuniting with his former head coach and a team that desperately needs receiver help. If they're able to do that, I really like them going into next season because, Romeo Doubs was their big addition at receiver, and I clearly, obviously, don't look at him as a receiver one, but I think A.J. Brown still is a receiver one in this league. And then you slide Romeo Doubs down one, and then you just have a really nice, depthy receiving core. After making the Super Bowl last year and, just being honest, getting embarrassed on that stage to reunite A.J. Brown with his former head coach and bring this offense some explosiveness, that would be something that I'd be a fan for. So I'm hoping it happens. I'd be really shocked if we start the season and A.J. Brown is still in an Eagles uniform. I just really think that relationship is too far gone. But yeah, we'll have to see if they do. What do you remember what you gave the Patriots last episode in our free agency episode? Because I remember you being a little bit higher than them.
Still written down. I think I gave them like a B plus.
Yeah, I think you were a little bit. I think I was like a C plus, and I think you were a B
Do I
plus.
have it? No, I guess I deleted. No, they have recently deleted in your notes, right?
Yeah.
Where is that at?
Let me see. Honestly, I'm on an iPad, so it's going to be different from me to you. But if they were to pull this off, I mean, my ranking was lower than Jaden's, and I would certainly boost it up if they were able to make this. Brown's not the player he once was, but I still think he's a quality, 11 to 1,200 yard receiver in this league, and Drake May certainly needs that help. They definitely have other positions that they need to improve on that offensive side. I'm looking at that offensive line, but man, would they benefit from trading for A.J. Brown? So hopefully that does go down. That's more content for us, but just some rumors that we wanted to mention in this podcast. So I think with all that out the way, let's just jump right into it. We are continuing our top 10 rankings in the NFL. This will be our final top 10 ranking. We have done quarterbacks, we have done running backs, we have done receivers, we have done edge rushers, and now we are on to cornerbacks. So if you haven't, go also check out those episodes if you are interested in our rankings. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but man, this position, I feel like I've said it almost every single episode when talking about these. This position, in my opinion, was one of the hardest and maybe even the hardest, because I think cornerback in the NFL, when you talk about rankings, it fluctuates so much year to year. You can have a player who's on top of the world for a year, And then next year, it's the complete opposite. It is very difficult to stay elite and stay even just a good cornerback for multiple years. So, I mean, just credit to the guys that have been able to stay at the top for a long time. It's very, very difficult. And some guys that were at the top just a few years ago may have not even made my top 10. So we're definitely going to get into that. Before we start off these rankings, I brought some honorable mentions. I believe you said you also had a couple that you wanted to talk about. So who do you want to go first? Do you want to start dropping yours, or I'll just go to my honorable mentions?
I'll drop mine.
Okay.
My honorable mentions, I have 5 or 6. I have AJ Terrell, Denzel Ward, Christian Benford, Jalen Johnson, and Jamel Dean.
Okay. Very similar honorable mentions. I'll jump into mine. I got quite a more. I got 7 honorable mentions that will unfortunately not be making my top 10. Mike Jackson does not make my top 10. He had an outstanding year this past year, but this was his first real breakout year. Unfortunately, not cracking my top 10. I also have AJ Terrell, Jalen Johnson, and Denzel Ward, as Jaden mentioned. I want to show love to my boy Eric Stokes, who was without a doubt a top 10 corner this past season, but that's not how we look at these things. So if he continues the exact same year last year, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna try to sneak a Raider onto this list. But I just wanted to show some love to my boy. And the other 2 corners that may come at a shock that did not make my top 10 list, Cooper DeJean did not make my top 10, and the other guy, I don't know if I'm going to get a reaction out of you. Sauce Gardner did not make my top 10. Is that
mine?
He is in yours? Okay. I didn't know if that was going to be shocking or not, but yeah, I looked it over. Sauce Gardner was a guy that was on top of the world a few years ago, and I think objectively his play the past 2 years has been down, and I got to respect the guys that are doing it right now and are at a, 8 out of 10 level or above. So that's unfortunately my man Sauce does not reach my top 10. So let's get right into it. Who's starting this off first? Who's going with their number 10?
I'll go with my number 10.
Okay, go ahead.
My number 10, who I was close to putting in an honorable mention, I'm not going to lie, because when I jumped in and looked at his, deep in his stats, he wasn't really as locked down as I thought he was. And my number 10 is J.C. Horn.
Okay.
We all know J.C. Horn, just a super just sticky coverage type player. I mean, one of the best coverage corners in the league, obviously. Came in with the 57.8 PFF grade, had him at 76th in the league, which, PFF grade for corners especially is really not the end-all be-all, because, PFF grade kind of factors in every aspect of the game, such as like tackling, penalties too, can, negate your grade heavily. But yeah, I mean, mainly a lot of things that corners aren't, especially boundary corners, aren't asked to be the best at, such as tackling or being, great in the run support, which, is amazing if your boundary corner is, but they're not really asked to, be the best at that. But yeah, 76th graded corner on PFF. He allowed 537 yards, allowed 6 touchdowns, but he also, made up for that and got 5 picks. Yeah. Allowed a 59% completion percentage and allowed a 86.6 passer rating when targeted. But I kept him on, though, still, because, we all know how good of a corner he is. Just the eye test. I have to watch my team play him twice a year. I know personally he is a phenomenal corner. He plays Drake London pretty well. I'd say he's probably the best corner that plays Drake London in the league, plays him the best. He's kind of Drake London's kryptonite. But, yeah, J.C. Horn made my 10 spot.
That's fair. He's a little bit higher for me, but I don't mind that J.C. spot. I'll jump into my number 10. My number 10 is Kamari Lassiter, a guy that was on one of, if not the best defense in the league last year. Is it crazy to call Kamari Lassiter, regardless of position, a top 10 run defender in the league? because this guy is a monster. I mean, this guy is reminiscent of prime Jalen Ramsey, and it's might not even be crazy to call him specifically this past year. That I mean, you compare Jalen Ramsey's best run defending season. I think Kamari Lassiter is probably better. I mean, this guy that they were literally lining him up off the edge. He was first out of all corners in stops at 33. I mean, and coverage stats are not terrible either. He was also, I think, top 15 in both defensive grade and coverage grade, and also a guy that was kind of middle of the pack when you look at yards per coverage snap allowed. So Kamari Lassiter, a guy that was opposite side of Derek Stingley, who certainly is going to be high on both of our lists. I thought really is just such a great fit for that Houston defense, and it's really like two different worlds when you look at when you look at Stingley and Lassiter. I mean, what a cornerback duo, without a doubt the best in the league. So Lassiter falls at number 10 for me. The number 9 is a guy that I actually had a pretty higher when I first made my rankings because of how elite he was this past year, but I had to bring him down because this was, I would say, his first year being at that top level. But it is Jamel Dean, a guy that I think was without a doubt a top 2 to 3 corner in the league this past season. I mean, gave up 0.7 yards allowed per coverage snap. That was tied third, and allowed the lowest passer rating when targeted at 46.9. So a guy that was on a defense that is not outstanding, out there on an island covering some of the better receivers in the league. I thought Jamel Dean did a really good job over there in Tampa Bay, and now bringing his talents to Pittsburgh. So you guys definitely got yourself a dog. So Jamel Dean, I was a huge fan of this season, and I'm expecting him to continue that over there in Pittsburgh. So he's at my number 9 spot.
My number 9 spot, somebody Devin had in his honorable mention. I had Cooper DeJean. Finished the season at a 78.2 PFF grade. Had him at 7th in the league. Allowed 564 yards. Allowed 2 touchdowns. Got those 2 touchdowns back with 2 interceptions. 60% completion percentage allowed and 80.2 passer rating when targeted. You'll notice with these kind of slot guys, their completion percentage allowed and passer rating is not going to be as high or as low as, some of these boundary corners. And I think that's another thing I did with my list is I kind of favored the boundary corners a little bit more. Not a little bit, but I definitely favored boundary corners more than slot corners. I think it's just a more important position. But nonetheless, Cooper DeJean is an amazing player. I mean, he's got, some of the best instincts in the league. I mean, not the fastest guy, not the quickest guy, laterally, but he
plays the game the right way, you could say.
Plays the game the right way, the type of guy you want to date your daughter. But yeah. One of the more versatile guys on this list too, obviously, playing corner, played safety in college, came to the league, and, our main question is, how well he'd hold up on the boundary, as a cornerback, and, he does it well. I don't have his numbers for how often he plays on the boundary, but I know he does a lot, somewhat.
I could probably pull that up somewhat quickly.
But, Cooper DeJean, really holding up in the NFL, kind of proving that scouting grade wrong. But, yeah, that's my number 9. My number 8, somebody I don't think you have on your list. Unless he's really high.
I didn't even mention in my honorable mentions?
No.
Okay.
And I really like this player. I have Joey Porter Jr.
At number 8? He's on my list. He's a little bit higher.
Oh, he's on your list.
Yeah, trust me. I'm familiar with the game.
Because you had 2 players that I didn't have on mine, so I'm like, I don't know.
I think what did you have? We'll see. We'll see. You can
we'll see.
I don't know.
I was just Joey Porter Jr. Amazing player. PFF grade, not the greatest, 67.6. Had him at 36 in the league. Allowed 372 yards. I don't have the numbers for where this ranked. I use Next Gen Stats, with the NFL Pro Premium, but it's kind of weird because they filter all the DBs together, like safeties, corners. So it's kind of hard to gauge where these guys rank among other corners when it comes to yards allowed. But 372, that's among some of the lowest, yards allowed for the top guys who have played, most of the games of the season. Allowed 0 touchdowns this season, only corner on this list to do that. And, and Moore got some back, got an interception along with that. Allowed a 50% completion percentage and a 61.5 passer rating when targeted. I mean, Joey Porter Jr., one of the most physical corners in the league. I mean, he's got to have, the longest wingspan among all corners in the league. I don't know. I just feel like when you see him out there, bro, he's like a damn pterodactyl. I mean, his arms are so long, and he's so good at using them. He's probably the best or second best press coverage corner in the league.
Yeah.
And he's just so physical. And, as you said, with the Steelers signing Jamel Dean, I think that's going to be
a good pair.
Instantly like one of the best cornerback pairings in the league.
No doubt.
And they also, too, when I was going into the deep stats, they had a corner last year, James Pierre, who graded out insanely. I don't remember. I haven't watched no film or tape on him or really seen a lot of highlights, but he graded out insanely.
Yeah, he was very underrated. A site that I used, I was going to mention this once I got to my Joey Porter Jr. ranking, but a site that I used a lot for this, Pro Football Sports Network, shout out to them, PFSN on Twitter. They had James Pierre as their second highest graded corner at a 90.3.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he was phenomenal last year, but
very.
He's not a slot guy though. He's a boundary guy.
Yeah, I want to say he is. Yeah.
So
I know he
curious
didn't
how
play
that's gonna.
Because he didn't play 50% of snaps. I don't think so, because I remember looking on PFF and I did not see a lot of his numbers on here. But, I want to say he's a boundary guy.
But, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, that's 3 boundary guys they have on the roster. I mean, surely one of them could move to the slot. But, that'll be one of the, best cornerback rooms in the league if James Pierre could keep that up. But, yeah, Joey Porter Jr. my number 8.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll jump to my number 8, which is Trent McDuffie. A guy that is taking his talents to LA now, and I'm sure he's going to finally be back in his, preferred spot, which is playing in that slot position. He's had to play a lot on the boundary the past 2 years, considering how thin the Chiefs have been at that defensive back position. And I'm really excited to see what he does. With the Rams, a guy that is definitely undersized for the position, but that does not matter. I think objectively he has, this is going to sound like an insult, but I think he objectively is worse on the boundary. He, excels in the slot. So that's a one big reason why he's dropped for me. Those first 2 years in the league for him after his second season, this guy was without a doubt, in my opinion, a top 5 corner in the league, and obviously he's kind of having to play, out of position, and that certainly has dropped his stock. But I still think he's an amazing player. I do believe he was worth that first-round pick that the Rams ultimately did give up for him. So I really think he's going to have a stellar year, back in his hometown in LA. So I'm excited to watch him play this year. My number 7 is a guy that I believe Jaden had at number 10. I have J.C. Horn, a little bit higher than Jaden had. This is a guy that has finally started to get healthy. He missed. I'll give you a little trivia here. How many games do you think J.C. Horn missed for his first 3 seasons in the league? If you had to guess.
So 3 seasons.
His first 3 years.
Could play a total of
48. Is that the math? Well, no, because it would be all 17
40,
games.
Yeah, 41. Right?
No. 17 is 34.
51 then.
51, yeah, 51.
Yeah, 51.
So how many out of 51, how many do you think he missed?
I'm gonna say at least 25.
Yeah, 29 games. His first 3 seasons.
I know he missed an entire season.
Yeah, and he's finally bounced back the last 2 years, playing 16 or more games in both seasons, and he's excelled. He's been one of the better corners in the league, in my opinion. I think for the first quarter of this season, the first 4 to 5 games, I do believe he was the best corner in the league, just specifically off those games, if you're looking at solely this year. But he definitely took a dip, and I definitely had to factor in that beginning start for him. And it's unfortunate that he couldn't keep up that play. I would love to get J.C. Horn higher on this list. There's going to be Panthers fans that believe he's top 5. There's going to be maybe some people that don't agree that he's as high as I have him, or even in the top 10 period. But I still do like J.C. Horn's game a lot. And I'm excited to see what the Panthers can do with a much improved defense. And I think as well, something that's very underrated when you look at cornerbacks is the fact that some of these corners that are on this list don't play with a team that really has a defensive line at all, a zero type of pass rush. So you're out there on an island and you can't, in the back of your mind, think that your team is going to bring home a sack. You pretty much have to believe that the ball is getting out every time. And, the Panthers were one of the worst teams in the league at getting pressure on the quarterback. So J.C. Horn, I got to give a lot of credit for him out there holding his own. So J.C. Horn at my number 7 spot.
At my number 7, Devin already listed him, I believe, at number 8. I have Trent McDuffie. Devin already broke it down pretty well. Graded with the 75.6 PFF grade, had him at 12th in the league, 366 yards allowed. Gave up 3 touchdowns, got one back with interception. 67 completion percentage allowed with a 96.3 passer rating. Trent McDuffie, I think it's clear he excels in the slot. Being a guy that's probably like 5'10". Google has him listed at 5'11", but those things always round up and give you an extra inch. He looks visibly pretty small on the field. I'd say he's probably 5'10".
Yeah.
It's just tough to line up on the boundary against these wide receivers that are that, when you're that small. But I just think as a player, McDuffie might be probably the quickest corner in the league. Is that crazy to say? I wouldn't say the fastest, but in terms of, just movement, like lateral movement, he is just so fluid.
I don't think that's that crazy.
He is a quick player, I think.
Yeah.
I think he fits perfectly in the slot, and hopefully that's what he will be brought to LA to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. Trent McDuffie at my number 7. At my number 6, who I'm pretty sure Devin has higher. And, for reasons I said earlier in my list, I value the boundary guys a lot more. I have Devin Witherspoon at my number 6. Graded out as the best corner in the league, 89.9 PFF grade.
Yep.
And, that factors in a lot to how well he can play in the run. He is such a physical corner, and probably the most physical corner in the league. He literally, he's like plays like he shot out of a cannon every single play. Like his hair is on fire. That defense over there in Seattle is insane. You could see why, how much value he brought to that team. Yep. They won a Super Bowl. But Devin Witherspoon, 326 yards allowed, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Allowed a 69 completion percentage when targeted and a 90.7 passer rating. Like I said, he brings so much more value than just, pass plays. Like I said, in the run, he's an insane player. We saw it with him coming out of college, and he's came to the league and been even better than he was in college, which is crazy to say because his college tape was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have Devin Witherspoon at number 6.
Yeah, that's a fair ranking. I'll jump into my number 6, a little bit higher than you had him. I have Joey Porter Jr. Jaden talked about him a ton, listed off a bunch of statistics. As I mentioned, he was the highest graded corner according to Pro Football Sports Network. Again, I want to give a lot of credit to them because I did get a lot of stats from them. He was tied second in yards allowed per coverage snap at 0.6. Do you think I've said him this episode? Who do you think was first in yards allowed per coverage snap at 0.5?
Is it Eric Stokes?
It's Eric Stokes, a guy that I think without a doubt was a top 10 corner. I want to give so much credit. I can't believe he was as good as he was for the Raiders. I got to bring it back to the Raiders as much as I can in any episode.
Just can't go an episode without
I'm sorry.
talking about the Raiders.
I have to. I got to be biased. But let me go back to Joey Porter Jr.
You know, at my number one spot, I think I'm going to go A.J. Terrell.
No,
if that Seattle game didn't exist, I might put him top 5.
Yeah, that Seattle game was certainly rough on the tape, but yeah, Joey Porter Jr. I think his biggest knock, it's his biggest gift and his biggest knock, as Jaden mentioned. He's got go gadget arms, but it can cause him to be handsy at times. A guy that was near the top of the league in penalties. That's certainly the biggest knock that I can have on him, but. Man, has he been such a good player in the league ever since he entered? I didn't know if he had this type of peak to him, being a for sure, without a doubt, top 10 corner in the league. But man, is he doing it, and close to top 5 for me as he falls at number 6. My number 5, a guy that Jaden just talked about, Devin Witherspoon. Not too much of a difference here. I also could not rank him as high as I think he should. I think he. Man, I think you could really have a real argument that he's a top 2 to 3 corner in the league just with how much value he brings. But, playing in the slot position at the end of the day, it's simply not as valuable as a boundary guy. At certain points it can be, depending on what you're doing for your team. And Devin Witherspoon certainly does that. 3rd in the league in stops. As Jaden said, 1st in defensive grade, 1st in coverage grade. A guy that did it all for the Seahawks. And to be the best defensive player on a Super Bowl winning team has to provide some type of value. So man, is Witherspoon an absolute beast. I cannot believe that they took a slot corner at number 5? That's so crazy to think about. And he's been worth all of it. Looking back at that draft, you could argue he could have been 2 or 3. He's that good of a player. My goodness, Devin Witherspoon. The Devins always do it right. So he's my number 5.
My turn?
Yep.
All right. My number 5, I have Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, straight up, he's phenomenal. He doesn't do anything eye-popping, but he's just always all over his man. 74.4 PFF grade, 451 yards allowed 1 touchdown this season. Fortunately, didn't get that back, finished with 0 interceptions. Allowed a 42 completion percentage when targeted. That is by far the lowest on this list. Yep. Not by far, but that is the lowest on the list. 63.4 passer rating when targeted. It's just teams. I want to say teams just don't go at Quinyon, but that's just not true because he is targeted a lot.
Yeah,
he was targeted among the highest in the league, and you see what happens when he's targeted. It's not a completion ever. Now, I wouldn't say it's an interception. Because, he finished with 0. But,
yeah,
he is one of the most stickiest corners in the league. Probably one of the best man coverage corners. And, he could do it all. Great in zone coverage, too. Quinyon Mitchell. Phenomenal player. At my number 4 is the guy Devin left off his list.
Yeah,
I have Sauce Gardner.
I was going to say, once you said Quinyon at 5, I'm like, wow, you have one of my honorable mentions in your top
Sauce,
4.
I think he's still got the goods. I think, I don't think he played amazing in Indianapolis. But you can't expect, somebody to just get traded halfway through the season to a team that was kind of falling apart like they were and just expect him to, be amazing. Finished still with the 76.9 PFF grade, 9th in the league. Allowed just 282 yards. Didn't play every game in the season, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think he only played 10
14.
games. So that's a little bit
I thought he played 13 or 14. I could be wrong, though. Maybe I'm tripping.
I'll look that up real quick while you keep going.
Allowed 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, though. Only allowed a 59% completion percentage. And yeah, I think Sauce. I mean, we know how good Sauce is. I mean, there was a time for a minute.
He played 11.
11. Oh, wow. A little less than I thought. But yeah, I mean, we know how good Sauce is. I think he's still got the goods. It was scary for a minute. He did suffer that injury. People were thinking it could be like an Achilles or something, but thankfully it was just a calf sprain or something like that. He should be ready to go next season. I think he will ball out next season. I think he will still be in this range come next season, which is why I have him here. I think Sauce is still a phenomenal player. Like Devin said, not as good as he once was, but I think, Sauce is at 4 for me.
That's fair.
Numbers don't favor him too much, but I think he's still one of the best corners in the league, personally.
I think one of the biggest things, and I could be wrong. I could be a fool for leaving off Sauce Gardner, and you guys can go at me in the comments if you believe that. I think it is a little bit scary and nerve-wracking that he's only been in the league for what, this was his 4th year, I want to say, or was this his 3rd year? No, this was 4. I can check it out real quick. This was his 4th year, because that's why the Jets had to trade him, because they obviously weren't going to extend him. But a guy that his first 2 years in the league, he's all pro first team, a top 1, top 2 corner in the league. And as I've said, I think objectively the past 2 years have been down years compared to those years. And it's scary, because is that trend going to continue? Corner is the hardest position, I believe, in the league to stay at the top at. And yeah, I mean, maybe I could have still given him his respect and put him in that 10 to 8 range maybe, but he didn't make my list, and it is what it is. My number 4 spot is but similar spot that Jaden had. Quinyon Mitchell. Man, is this guy a special talent. I'm not going to do it. I almost brought it back to the Raiders. Focus on Quinyon. A statistic that Jaden didn't mention that I think is a very important statistic for corners. He was 3rd in tight window percentage throw forced, meaning he is sticky. He is on his man at all time. 5th in lowest passer rating allowed. And I know people like to look at the interception numbers, and Twitter likes to troll that, but in one of the biggest games of his life in the playoffs, he got 2 against the 49ers and, showed everybody. But man, it is Quinyon, such a special player, and they got him really late in the draft. Man, what Quinyon was like 20 something? Am I able to? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I think he was like 27, I want to say. Can I spell? How the hell do you spell Quinyon Mitchell?
22nd.
22nd. Okay, I thought he was a little bit. I thought he was like 27, but yeah, I mean, still to get a player of his caliber that late in the draft is unreal. So Quinyon falls at number 4 for me, and a guy that could potentially even rise on this list, which is crazy.
To be fair, first corner taken off the board low in that draft. So
yeah. And the reason why I was going to result it back to the Raiders, and as I remember, the Raiders were heavily linked to him at, I believe, the number 12 spot. But I'm certainly not mad at Brock Bowers. My number 3 corner back in the league, where we're obviously going to have a consensus top 3. We'll see if we stick the order.
We have consensus.
I have Derek Stingley Jr. as my number 3 corner in the league. Without a doubt.
You could just talk for me here.
Yeah, without a doubt, the best corner in zone. He was 2nd in passer rating allowed in zone. And this is crazy to say. In my lifetime watching corners play, I've been really deep into the NFL since around 2014-ish, but I started watching football around 2012-ish. And I think the 2 best corners I have ever watched in my life in zone coverage is Richard Sherman and Derek Stingley Jr. I mean, the Texans allow Derek Stingley Jr. to get away and just do a whole bunch of things because he is that talented and that good at zone coverage. I mean, you watch some of the coverages that he's on and the way he's covering these receivers, it's something that you don't see across the league because that's how good he is. some of the best ball skills in the league. He will intercept you if you try to throw in his zone. I mean, my goodness, Derek Stingley Jr. is such an amazing player.
Yeah, he plays those balls amazing.
yeah, that's one way to put it. And a guy that had a struggle of a rookie year, a guy that was also, I mean, I'm talking about some of the best corners I've ever seen play. Man, he might be one of the best freshman corners I've ever seen play in college. I mean, that year that he had at LSU during their championship run, man, was he incredible. And
yeah,
he's
those
the same
practice
way.
tapes of him lining up with Jamar Chase was that iron sharpens iron noise.
Right.
Tony Stark in the cave, just bing, bing, bing.
Certainly. So Stingley is my number 3, as we, I'm sure have a consensus top 3 as we match on Stingley. So you can go ahead and talk about your 2, and then obviously we know who number 1 is.
My number 2. I have Patrick Surtain. I'm joking.
You should have just kept going. You should have just kept going. No, but
I have Drake London's son. I have Christian Gonzalez. I love Christian Gonzalez. I had to throw it in there. Christian Gonzalez. Where do I even begin? I mean, he is probably the second best man coverage corner in the league.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if you said he's the first. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Like his hips just don't lie. I mean, he's
maybe
he's
the most
phenomenal.
important trait to have as a corner. You gotta have good hips.
I mean, we saw him. He came up and made insane plays in the Super Bowl. He had 2 of the best pass breakups all season in the Super Bowl.
That is my number 1 note with him. It says played the best game of his life in the biggest game of his life. That's my number 1 note for Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. I mean, he is just phenomenal. I mean, you cannot get open on him. He allowed a 52 completion percentage and a 78.1 passer rating when targeted. Mm-hmm. I mean, the numbers may not favor him, such as the PFF grades, but the tape does not lie. I mean, when he's able to be healthy and be out there on the field, I mean, he's easily, one of the best players on the field, both sides of the ball, whoever he's lined up against.
That's interesting that you say that, because all my notes, I'll also mention this real quick. He was the highest, you talked about PFF grade, he was the highest graded DB in the postseason after not being the, super, super highest ranked in the regular season. But I also have on my notes, was he, and this obviously boosted him, this was one of the biggest reasons why I put him over Derek Stingley, was he the best player on a Super Bowl team? Was he the best player on the Patriots, period? Or is he the best player on the Patriots?
Is he the best player on that team?
Yeah.
I think certainly you have to throw Will Campbell in that. Yeah, I think so. I think a team that's just not superstars studded. I think they have 2 superstars, but not a whole lot anywhere else, or not a whole lot of even stars, really. Just a deep, well-coached team.
Yeah.
I think he's better at cornerback than Drake May is at quarterback.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I think he was without a doubt their best player in the playoffs, and I think he just flat out is their best player. So to be the best player on a Super Bowl team is crazy.
I think only 2 of these guys are the best player on their teams.
Yeah, and that's obviously continuing our number 1 spot collectively. Did we go 4 out of 5? The only one we didn't match on? No, we went 3 out of 5. We didn't match on receiver or quarterback. So 3 out of 5 of our rankings result in the same number 1 spot, which is obviously Patrick Surtain. I'll jump into his statistics and talking about him a little bit, since Jaden, talked about Christian Gonzalez. I think objectively, it was a down year for Surtain, but I don't really care. He is still the best corner in the league. I mean, coming off a Defensive Player of the Year now 2 years ago. I mean, you're not going to lose that number 1 spot that quick. And even being with an objectively down year, he was still second in tight window percentage throw forced. According to PFSN, he had a 66.5 passer rating allowed, which was ninth, and he was tied second in yards allowed per coverage snap at 0.6. Some of the stats that do, favor that down year that I was talking about, he did have 10 penalties. He was getting a lot. He was handsy a lot this year, more than he was last year. So that's one of the biggest knocks that he had on his game. But, I mean, not only –
I think that also could come with just being a superstar. Like, I feel like, coming off a Defensive Player of the Year, this is me just making it up in my head because I feel like this is something I would do.
Advocate.
Just test the waters, see what you can get away with now. Like, these
fair.
refs, they know how good you are. The officiator, they know how good you are. Why not just go out there and see what you can start to get away with? I mean, that's just how I look at it. Maybe I got to go back, watch the tape on some of these. Maybe like he actually fucking had to call get a PI called on him to save a touchdown. But that's how I look at it. Like maybe he just, he's just testing the waters. He's the best in the league.
That's a fair point.
See how good that whistle is.
Yeah, for players like that, you give the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I mean, Surtain, what a talent he is at cornerback. Man, are the Broncos lucky to have him. I certainly am not a fan of playing him 2 times a year. I know when he was a rookie and in his second year and, playing against Devontae Adams, he definitely got the better of him. I got to. He definitely got the better of him. But, man, the last year that Devontae was with us, I mean, Surtain had his number. He certainly did. I think
he's also just
every receiver
of any cornerback ever.
All right, here we go.
No, you don't know where I'm going with this. You don't know where I'm going with this.
I'm just curious.
Is he the most prototypical like build. Just build? Like, is he not just perfect? I mean, what more like? You don't want too tall. 6'2", I feel like that's just perfect. And I mean, what? 205 pounds, 200 pounds. Like he's thick. He's solid. You're not gonna be able to move him around. He's still fast. He's not too big, too thick to where he can't keep up with the speedsters. I mean, we've seen him keep up with like guys like Xavier Worthy. Fastest 40-yard time ever. I think. Who do you think who's a better build?
This is a player I think, and this is
Nnamdi Asomugha.
We've talked about him before, but Nnamdi Asomugha, I do believe I think is the best cornerback build that we've ever seen in the league. I think I think
he also just has bad drip. But so give me Patrick Surtain.
But I mean,
like the arm sleeves.
You look at everything, ridiculous go gadget arms. I mean, and Nnamdi was just unreal. I mean, 6'2", 210. He was physical. He was going to jam you at the line. I think he's a better athlete than Surtain was. And I think even sticking on that same build, a guy that didn't really pan out in the league, but I think a similar mold with the long arms, had some good weight, good size to him. I mean, Jeff Okudah, I really think is just he just had everything perfectly coming into the league. The tape, the size, the mannerisms, like the interviews, everything. He was just such a we talked about it.
Maybe it's just an aura that Surtain has, but just when I picture it in my mind, it's like
he's the perfect man to you.
He just looks perfect. Like like you get what I'm saying. Like
no,
obviously you want long arms, 100%, but I just feel like his arms are just long enough. They're perfect. I think he's got enough muscle on his body to be able to get as physical as he wants with about any receiver in the league. Mm-hmm. I think he's as fast as he needs to be to keep up with any receiver in the league. If he's gonna be fucking just press coverage, just trying to jam the absolute speedsters in the league, sure he can't keep up. But I think for the most part, I think at any given time he's key. I don't know if he can really just get straight up burnt.
When you look at
it's Chosen Robbie Chosen,
yeah, in that game where they absolutely stomped them. When you look at him compared to like a prime Ramsey, where does that fall for you?
I
Do
think
you prefer Surtain's, build and everything over
I think
that?
I prefer Surtain. I
That's
think
fair.
I do.
That's fair.
I think I do. I think Ramsey also, similar build, probably same height. I'm 6'2". I think
They got Ramsey at 6'1". I think he's bigger. I think he's like 6'2". But
I think he's also just bigger. He's also just stronger.
yeah, more stocky.
I think Surtain is just, I hate to say it here, but he's just the perfect size. All right, that's crazy. But he is the perfect size. You know, as they say, the bigger ones hurt. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't. Well,
but I wouldn't hate if the old guy said someone like like a Rod Woodson.
Yeah,
like
I mean, we haven't mentioned the best corner of all time, Deion Sanders. But Deion Sanders was completely. He was really slim. He was a skinny guy.
Yeah, I think he's too small for me.
Yeah.
It's too slim for me.
So
See,
Surtain
like if I was
is
out
your
there at receiver, I might be bullying Deion Sanders right
yeah.
now. But
All right.
Yeah, Surtain. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just see him on the football field, and I just think like that's the corner I want. Like I want to replicate 100 more builds of him and put him on my team. Like I don't know.
Yeah, he's the perfect size for you. Sanders is a little too skinny. I can agree with that part. But yeah, those are our rankings. Let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. I'm sure your favorite team's corner, unfortunately, did not make it. Trust me, I tried my hardest to get Eric Stokes in here, but I couldn't go that far. I had to show some love to these guys, and that is it. We are done with our rankings. We've ranked every major position in the league. Unfortunately, we're not doing offensive guards. We're not doing tight ends. We're not doing safeties. We considered combining this and doing
snappers.
no,
but
we considered combining corners and safeties to just put DBs. But I think that's, you know what? And I guess we'll end it off here with this conversation. If we did that, how many safeties make your list? Off the top of your mind, do you think?
Nah, honestly, it might just. It might just be one.
Because I'm trying to think. Like, I don't even know who I would necessarily like. The reason I wanted to do that is to kind of get more variety and show some more love to other positions that we weren't going to rank, because we obviously aren't doing offensive linemen, we aren't doing tight ends, linebackers, things like that. But I mean, Hamilton, I think certainly makes the list. I think Jalen Petrie has a real argument. And then you have guys that are like on the fence: Xavier McKinney, Derwin James, Brian Branch, Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, Kevin Byard was a first-team All-Pro. I don't think he makes my list, but
Nick Eamon-Worry.
Want to put that out there. I mean, yeah, as a rookie, I mean, I would consider it, but I don't think he would make my list.
Sidney Brown.
Yeah, now we're just saying shit. But yeah, that would have been interesting. It would have been interesting. Again, I don't think it changes our list too much. We probably only have one or two safeties end up making the list. I mean, you know what? That's where we'll end it. Where does Kyle Hamilton rank in this list?
I don't want to do that, bro.
You don't want to do it? Because you don't want to hear my answer. You wouldn't. I don't know if you'd agree.
Yeah, I think we just move on to the next subject. I can't there's just different positions. They do different things. It's like asking you to make a D tackle and defensive end list and rank them together. Like, that's just, I can't, like.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
Honestly, that's worse than defensive tackle, honestly, in defensive end. That might be like tight end and receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. That's a fair point. But just to put it out there, he'd be my one. He would be my number one defensive back in the league. No. He's that fucking good. Yes, he would. For me. And the lowest I'd accept is 2. Lowest I'd accept is 2.
No.
But that's where we'll
There's
end.
a reason safeties aren't drafted that high.
But when you're as good as Kyle Hamilton, I mean, I think if we did a fantasy draft of defensive players outside of the top edge rushers, he'd be my first pick. Like outside of a Garrett, Will Anderson, and then, Parsons, and then you have questions about Crosby with his injury, I think I go Hamilton. I think I go Hamilton, man. He's that good. He's that good.
I'm taking the corners over that. Sorry.
That's fair. I mean, it's a good conversation. It's a good conversation. I'd be curious. Let us know what you think about our rankings, and let us know what you think about that. Who would you take, Patrick Surtain or Kyle Hamilton? Who's a better player?
See, that's a different thing, because now we're taking away positional value. Which is what we did for this cornerback ranking. Like we said, we value the boundaries over the slots.
But I think,
who's a better football player? Yeah, I think no shit, Kyle Hamilton. I think he does way more than the top corners do. But I think the cornerback position is just more valuable than that.
So I'm trying to.
I think there's more guys that can do Kyle Hamilton's job that.
Whoa!
Not as good as no. You're not letting me finish.
Okay.
I'm not saying they could do it as good as he can do it, but I think there's more guys that you could plug in to a safety, because he's more than a safety. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He plays like almost every position on the field.
Everywhere.
So it's hard to even like rank something like that. But like just as his natural position as safety, I mean. I don't know.
I just think I understand your perspective of being a cornerback and a boundary cornerback that is left on an island. It is one of the hardest and maybe the hardest position to play in football, considering the freaks that you have to play. But I think I get it. It does, you got to start looking at positional value. But with how much Kyle Hamilton does on a football field, I mean, he is a one of one. He is one of flat out the best defensive players I have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. I've said that before, and I don't think it's something crazy to say. With how much he affects the game and how much he is involved on every single play. I mean, this guy is 6'4", and I think he's the best deep coverage safety in the league. And I think he's also the best run defending safety in the league. I think he probably is top 2 in IQ in the league. I mean, he just does everything at a 10 out of 10 level. And he's doing that at 6'4", 225 or something crazy like that. It's and it's no knock on Surtain. I think I'm just a super Kyle Hamilton glazer. I just love him so much. I think I really like him because I was such a big fan of Isaiah Simmons, and that's what I imagined him being. But to be fair, Isaiah Simmons was never going to be anything similar to Kyle Hamilton. They were just different types of player prospects, but similar archetypes, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's where we'll end this episode. I don't know yet what we got planned for next episode, but upcoming in April, we're gonna have our mock drafts. We're gonna have, I believe, our top 25.
We're ending the episode.
Did you have something you wanted to jump into?
I thought we were doing Would You Rather.
Oh, you're completely right. I totally forgot about that. That's a good call. That's an amazing call. I should have hopped into that before top 10s. That's where we'll end the episode. Would you rather? We got 3 would you rather questions for each other. 2 NFL related, 1 non-NFL related. I'll go ahead and start it out since I'm the one who forgot about it.
I'm just going to say this is going to top our last episode.
What, for longest you think?
Yeah.
We're at an hour 20. Our last one, I think, was at an hour 58. We'll see. We'll see if this lasts 38 minutes. All right, I'll start it out. Would you rather draft an edge rusher that is a guaranteed 8.5 sacks every year for 8 years, or draft a safety guaranteed for 4 interceptions for 8 years? So in this question, you're drafting this player, let's say this year, and they're only playing 8 years and they're going to retire at the end of their 8th season. Which would you rather draft? An edge rusher that's guaranteed 8.5 sacks, or a safety that's guaranteed 4 interceptions?
I think the safety.
Really? I thought for some reason I thought you'd go edge rusher. I was considering like fluctuating these numbers and bumping it up to 9.5 and 5, but I thought 8.5 and 4 was a good.
I think
good
4
number.
interceptions a season is harder to do than 8.5 every season.
That's fair.
Because there's just like like interceptions are just a way more iffy stat than sacks. Like, like Trayvon Diggs finished with 10 interceptions in the season or something, 11 or something like that, and he's never even came close to that again. It's just like it's so situation, like right place, right time. If you're gonna give me the fact that he's gonna get 4 guaranteed, is that just
it's 4. It's 4 period, nothing more, nothing less.
I don't know. I think I could just build a team with I think at getting edge rushers to put up similar production is easier to do than get a safety that's gonna guarantee you 4 interceptions every season.
That's a fair point.
That's just kind of how I looked at it.
So where would the number? Let's say I bump this up to 5 interceptions, and I bump the sacks up to.
I think I'm still doing it.
10.5. Would you still go interceptions? 10.5 sacks, 5 interceptions.
Is a lot.
So plus 2 sacks, plus 1 interception.
I think I still do the interceptions.
That's fair.
Honestly,
no, it's
I
fair.
think so.
I
think anything past that, I probably. I don't know, because you just keep raising the interceptions, and it's like, man.
No, we'll leave it at the 8.5 and 4. You would go 4.
I think just the turnover play of an interception is more valuable than just a sack or maybe even a couple sacks.
That's fair. I think I agree with you. I just, when I wrote this question, I for sure was like, I think he's gonna go with the sacks, but I'm gonna go with this anyway. But I would probably agree. I think I'd go the interceptions as well.
All right. Mine is, let's see, I'll do this one. Would you rather have an elite top 5 quarterback with a bottom 5 coaching staff or a top 5 coaching staff with a bottom, let's say a top 19 to 23-ish range quarterback? Okay. That's what I have written down. That's oddly specific, but that's what I didn't want to do bottom 5 quarterback because that feels that's really bad.
Right.
So I said top 19 to 23-ish.
I honestly, man, that's a really, really good question, because how I'm thinking about this is, obviously when you say top 5, you got Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen, and then whoever you want to throw at that 5th spot.
Let's just say this is just a new quarterback, though.
Just random.
I don't want to do one of them.
Like Fernando.
Let's just
Mendoza,
say whatever you
top 5 quarterback.
There we go.
What? I'm just saying. Okay. So
no,
you're just
this is a new guy. This is Philip McCannon, and he's whatever prototype of quarterback you want him to be.
Yeah,
he's top 5,
and he's top 5. Oh man, honestly,
Philip McCannon, if you're watching this, shout out.
That's really, really rough, and I know nothing else about my team. Right, this is all I get. It's the quarterback and the coaching staff.
Yeah,
honestly, bro, I think I'd go. Because for one, having a top 5 quarterback would be incredibly fun to watch. I've never seen it. I got one season of Derek Carr where he was in MVP conversations. I've never been able to watch anything close to that.
Yeah, sure.
Since.
Let's just say just from a fan. Let's not say like you're trying to just – I mean, obviously as a fan you're trying to win, but like this isn't like a GM perspective. This
honestly,
is more like a fan.
That's where I was going with it. I think I would choose the top 5 quarterback route because, again, I've never been able to see something like that. And if I'm able to see this for an extended period of time – I mean, I would be putting my quarterback in conversations he shouldn't be. I would always, and again, it's not like you're not saying, oh, because you have a bottom 5, you're guaranteed. You could sneak out a year where you win a championship or you make a good playoff run. And
no, you're in the hardest division ever.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep on that hardest division. No receivers, offensive line blows.
Yeah.
No,
Wife's cheating on you.
hey, that might turn into a Luka situation there, but I think I'd go the top 5 quarterback, bottom 5 staff. I think I'd enjoy my experience as a fan. Maybe the 19 to 23 quarterback thing has a higher ceiling, considering that he's not going to be paid like a top 5 quarterback. But then again, I mean, you see the money Daniel Jones is getting, so maybe he would. But either way, I think I'd go top 5. I'd like to be able to witness a top 5 quarterback in my life. Praying on you, Fernando. Bring it home.
All right.
My next, before I jump into this, my next would you rather. Who are your bottom 3? And I want to see if I nail this. If I don't, then it is what it is. I made a mistake. Who are your bottom 3 least favorite teams in the league, but you can only pick one from your division? So 3 least favorite teams, only one from your division. Who are you? I'm not saying you have to pick. If it's not from your division, then you don't have to be. But I was going to think you'd probably say like
Saints.
2 from your division. Saints is one of them.
Ah, damn. Saints. I guess probably go Niners, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
By proximity, growing up in the Bay Area, everybody's Niner fans out here. Kind of just grew a hatred for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's kind of just a cop-out. What's another team I hate? NFC East,
And even like fan base wise, maybe you don't like their fan base.
Yeah.
If you can't think of it, I'll just jump into it.
I'll probably go Eagles.
Okay. So what I did here, would you rather the Eagles/Broncos win a Super Bowl or the Saints win a Super Bowl? I tried to nail your bottom 3 least favorite teams.
I thought about the Broncos.
Because I know you're not close. A fan of Bo
But that
Nix
was just like a one-season thing.
Yeah, but it was
I haven't
just like,
always hated them.
It was a thing that was pretty heavy this past season.
I just hated how overrated they were.
I threw it in.
And it's crazy to say because they just made a championship, but I think they're still overrated.
Right.
But
so maybe it's essentially, would you rather the Eagles or Saints win a Super Bowl? But the question is phrased, would you rather the Eagles/Broncos win a Super Bowl or the Saints win a Super Bowl?
I think there's a gap after the Saints.
After the Saints. So
I think you throw any team in there. I'm telling you right now. Yeah.
Would you rather the 49ers three-peat or the Saints win a Super Bowl?
I'd rather the 49ers 12-peat than the Saints win another regular season game.
I knew that it was going to be heavy favorite of the Saints. That's why I wanted to say only one, but I'm like, I knew the Saints were number 1, like by far. Out of the rankings, I'd assume it goes Saints, Panthers, Bucks out of your least favorite for your division.
No, Saints, Bucks, Panthers.
Ooh, okay. So is the Bucks Panthers one? Is that because I feel like Panthers fans might be more annoying than Bucks fans? Am I wrong
Bucks
by that?
Just because they're a bit more successful.
That's fair. Yeah,
Panthers fans, it did get pretty bad this year, especially with that one game.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't hate them as much. I don't know. They're just not on my mind. They try to be, included with the beef of the NFC South. Everybody knows it's the Falcons, the main character. They try to be included. They had their little season, made the playoffs with a negative record. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely Saints. I also seen something recently that the Saints-Falcons rivalry is like, I forgot what the ranking was. I don't know if you saw it. I should have saved it. But it's like by far the most heated rivalry among the fans. Yeah.
What is that, just voted on or something?
I want to say it's voted. It's definitely voted by people, but I don't know how they got the data. I don't know. I seen the tweet over a week ago. I probably should have saved it. But they were by far and away number 1, which is crazy because I always felt like we were such a heated rivalry, but rankings I see through the years, people don't put us that high. But maybe that just has to do with a success thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to be like, you know, like the more successful rivalries for successful teams being higher. But yeah.
All right. So any other team except the Saints, pretty much. All right. What's your next one?
My next one. Is this a loaded question? I don't know. I typed out a lot, but let me see. As a fan of an NFL team, would you rather your team dominate their way in the playoffs and eventually to a Super Bowl and obviously dominate in that Super Bowl, or would you rather your team play close, high-scoring, nail-biter games in the playoffs and eventually, you know, win a Super Bowl
In a nail-biting
such fashion? In such fashion, yeah. In just high intensity, high scoring games.
This is
as a fan of that team.
Yeah.
Which would you rather experience?
This is a good one because this is one that I've thought about before because, and this is on brand for us because it's also two of our teams. In my time of really, really watching sports and being keened in and locked in, I've watched one of my teams win it all, and that's the Lakers, and that was against Jaden's Miami Heat. And in that series, it went 6 games. It was definitely competitive, but always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I just like know that we're the better team. And in that, game 6, I mean, I think it got to like a 35, 40-point game at some time. And it was kind of hard to like grasp it because it's such of a blowout. Don't get me wrong. I was still hyped. I was still excited for my team to win it. But it's just like if the Raiders went to a Super Bowl and it's like 27-0 at halftime, like I'm obviously going to be hyped. Like it's way different. I'm so much more of an NFL fan than NBA fan, so it would obviously be different. I'd probably get emotional. Not probably. I would get emotional if the Raiders won a Super Bowl. But man, if you're telling me like we take the lead with like 2 minutes left, and then Max Crosby gets a game sealing 4th down sack to win it. Like, bro, like I'm going crazy. But if it's like, oh, we're up 31-0 going into the 4th, it's like I've already celebrated. Like I'm not even really like caring almost about this. I'm just waiting for the celebration at this point. Like I always prefer a nail biter. Like even in teams that I'm not a fan of. Like I'm always for a nail biting, high blood pressure type of situation. So even though it would get my blood pressure up, as I said, I'm always gonna prefer, you know, my team to be in a close game and hopefully pull it out. The Raiders don't do that often, but if you're telling me they could do that for 3 or 4 games in the playoffs and bring home a championship, I would definitely choose that over, you know, 21-point wins every single game. In my opinion, some people might feel different. Some people might want to dominate and be able to be like, "Oh, my team just had the greatest run in NFL history," and that's certainly one way to look at it. Because let's say the Raiders go out there and win a Super Bowl, and every game is by let's put some realism in it. Let's say every game is by like 14 or 12 points at least, maybe more like 14. I could sit here and be like, yeah, that was the most dominant playoff run we've ever seen. But also, I don't really care about putting my team in conversations and this and that. I just like to see great games. So, yeah, I'd prefer a close game every time over a blowout, personally.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. My last one, which is non-NFL related. Would you rather receive $10,000 flat, no tax, no nothing, every single month for the rest of your life, but you die at 45 years old? Or would you rather receive $5,000 every single month, flat, no tax, but you die at 60? Which would you rather do? So $120,000 a year, flat. That's it. That's your pay. You don't got to worry about no taxes, no extra, no nothing. You get that in your bank account every single month. Or $5,000, $60,000 a year, but you get an extra 15 years. And keep in mind, we're both 23, so essentially you get, you know, 22 years to live, or what is that, 37 years to live?
100% I'd do the second option.
5K to 60?
Because either way, it's not enough money for me to
like,
say, oh, I'm going to fucking die young with this money. I'm going out on top.
Yeah.
It's like the low end of a 6-figure salary. Like, don't get me wrong, that's great. But that's just not enough.
Yeah. And
that's
in this
not enough at all.
In this scenario, I was going to mention as well, like, it's like that's like you're earning. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to go start a business and I'll be a millionaire every single year. It's just like that's your earning, which, I mean, if you're getting that every single month, that'd be perfectly fine. You can
I can't work like another normal job, you're saying?
No, like you can't.
Okay.
You like, this is your income, but you can obviously like move anywhere you want to a cheaper place and this and that. But yeah, this would be your flat income.
Yeah, I think I definitely do.
60. You
The
do 5K every month, but die at 60.
Because I think money goes so much a longer way in other countries. 60, getting $5,000 a month, a $60,000 salary is well enough to, have that, be able to go to other countries and, do what you want to have fun. Because, you don't have a job, so you could just take those trips whenever.
Right.
Then and I'd rather do that and have 15 extra years on my life than that much of a shorter life with only 10K a month. Not say only, but like it's just not enough.
You know what's crazy? I think I would. I think I would go the 10K. I remember seeing the original question on this, and where I got this from. It was like a TikTok. Man, I wonder if I got it saved. Hopefully I'm not playing no music. There we go. A little bit of background. I wonder if I still had it saved. It was like it was just like a pretty broad question. It just said, you get rich at 18 but die at 40. I can't remember if we talked about this on the pod.
See, rich, that's different.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, if I up this to like 25K a month, I think it's a lot different. But like, I wanted to give it a little bit more realistic, and also something that's not like super crazy and like super obvious. I think the 10K and 5K, considering the deaths at 45 or 60, I think it's fair. Like, it's fair changes. But yeah, I think honestly, bro, I think I would go the 10K a month, because objectively, it's not like this insane amount. But I mean, to be fair, it is though at the same time. But man, I could go, you can do anything you want in your life because you're getting that money every single month in your bank account. You can go anywhere you want. You can move to a different state, to a different country, do whatever you want. And it's like, it's double. Like, I get it. I'm getting 15 years off my life, but like, also, bro, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, like once you pass like 70 and your bones start to break down and it's like you need help doing everything. It's like, man, I'd rather just enjoy my time.
To 70 though. You said you were getting to 60.
That's true.
But also, you're not point, assuming I don't know.
That's fair.
Because that 5K kind of keeps you a little humble.
Yeah.
You're not able to just live and just party like, an animal. And when you get to that age, your liver is all destroyed. I mean, you definitely could, but
yeah,
I think it's easier to go down that path the more money you make. But then you're going to die anyways 15 years earlier. You're going to die at a time where you think you still have a lot of life left to live, I feel like.
Yeah, that's fair. Because again, like I said, it's since we're both 23, it's 22 to 37 years. That would be our life expectancy for the rest, and then 60K or 120. It's tough. If it was right in front of me, I'd have a really tough time deciding. But when I wrote this, I was like, man, I really might go the 45 one. But yeah, well, that was my non-NFL. So what do you got for your last would you rather?
Would you rather only get Dune Part 3 or only get Avengers Doomsday?
I don't know why I thought you were going to say the Batman Part 2, and that was going to be a no-brainer question for me. Man. I think this is pretty easy for me, even though I just kind of thought it over for a little bit. I think it would be Dune 3. It is the end of the trilogy. And I think depending on how good this movie is, which I think it will be amazing, it's going to be up there with some of the best, if not the best trilogy of all time. And
so.
You don't think so, really?
Because I don't think the first one is good enough to be that
but
high.
I think the first one is good enough. I think
it's good, but I think the best trilogies of all time don't have a 7 out of 10 movie.
I mean, that's fair. I probably would go a little bit higher. I'd probably go somewhere in between a 7.5 to 8. But also at the same time, I think, obviously we're projecting here, but I mean, if the third one is as good as it seems like it's going to be and what people are saying, because it's obviously heavily based off the books, I mean, you could be looking at 9.5 out of 10 movies to end off a trilogy with the second and third. I mean, that would be like my
I don't
personal
want to spoil
ranking,
a lot.
I mean, I know a
is,
certain amount that happens.
What I've heard people say is like the third isn't. It probably won't be as good as the second, just based off the books. It'll probably still be a good movie, but like, I think they say, I don't know. I think that's what I've seen, at least online.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
A lot of less action, especially, I think, is what I've saw. But then the trailer kind of went around that. Like, the trailer made it look decently action-packed, but, they could have just been cherry-picking. But
dude, you know what? I think you're also kind of convincing me here to go Doomsday now and switch my answer. Because now that I'm thinking about it, the reason I was going to go Dune over Doomsday is because I think easily we can both agree, and a lot of people agree, Dune should be, levels above Doomsday as a movie. I think Doomsday has a very high likelihood to be a mess. It'll have a bunch of aura moments, and it'll be hype, and the theaters will be going crazy, and it'll be a fun experience. But I mean, I think objectively Dune has a higher chance to be a 9 out of 10 or better, and Doomsday could easily be, a 6 or a 7 out of 10, considering how messy it could be, despite having a bunch of loved characters in it. But also at the same time,
it could be, but Marvel's kind of making a little run here.
And that's one of the points that I was going to say, is that like Marvel hasn't given us a lot over the past few years, but also at the same time, they have given us some better projects as of recently. And one thing that we haven't talked about is the brand new trailer, the brand new Day trailer that finally dropped a few months before the movie's going to come out. And I was skeptical about that movie, but damn, did that trailer kind of pull me back in. And I'm still a little skeptical because it is a lot going on in that movie, and that could cause it to not be as good. I'm not a huge fan of when movies try to do too much things. The TASM 1 movie is one of the most underrated superhero movies in my opinion, because I think it's just such a simple story, only having one villain, and I think it's a good origin type of movie. But man, that brand new Day trailer did look really good. I am so excited to go watch that. But yeah, I think I would flip my answer. I think I would actually go Doomsday, because I think it does a whole lot more for me than Dune would. I think I will enjoy Dune more just specifically as a movie. But man, I mean, I'm going to assume we're going to get to a pretty big theater for both of these movies. And if Doomsday has as much hype and aura moments as it's looking like, I mean, we could be in a theater going crazy with a bunch of fans, and that experience will just be so fun. And I'm deeply saddened to say I missed it with Endgame. I was there for Infinity War, but unfortunately, I could only go to the movies when I went to my dad's on the weekend, and I had to miss it one time, and they went and saw it without me. So I missed out on that experience. And Doomsday I don't think it has a chance to reach those heights. Not even really close. Really? What do you think? Considering
because
the characters we know,
it's so much more multiverse. It's gonna be, I think, more multiversal than
Oh
it's
yeah.
just how Marvel fans get the cameos and stuff like it. I mean, we're all
If you had to
suckers for that.
project and think, what type of moments do you think could match the Endgame portal? Like what, a doomsday fight with somebody, like Cyclops going crazy
I
with
think
his
if they
comic
somehow,
accurate laser.
I don't know, that's tough.
Maybe
I think
Tom
maybe
Hot,
like
like, and I'm so curious, like, and this is why
I think maybe
I
like a call back to Tony Stark at some point in the movie.
yeah.
Not saying he gets resurrected. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm not looking too much into. I did say I had a coworker tell me. I haven't seen anything about this. I haven't dug for it or anything. But apparently, like the script for Doomsday got leaked.
I
And
saw some with that, and they also had the thing. This was like probably maybe not close to a year, maybe like 8 months ago now. Did you see when they had like
the
that?
art,
Yeah, and it was like
yeah,
Hulk and his son. It was like a medieval
they had
times
like
type of look.
Damson Idris as Black
Yeah,
Panther also.
which by the
But
way, I do think is happening. I do think that's happening because they've asked him in interviews, and he's gotten a little nervous about it. And there was also something where he was like out at dinner with somebody that was related to Marvel. I think that's very
yeah.
high likelihood of
I
happening.
mean, it's hard for me to say what type of thing, like, because I don't really know the plot of this movie.
Yeah, that's the part.
So it's hard for me to
That's
say like what is
because
gonna
what
get hype, but I
what
think the
could
most
even
hype
be
is
the
gonna
plot?
be. I think yeah, I don't know because it's not gonna be the Secret Wars stuff. That's the
Yeah.
next Avengers movie.
So it's like
I'm not sure
yeah,
exactly what the plot is gonna be, but with that being said, I think it's like a Tony Stark type moment, like a
Yeah.
callback at some like I don't know. I think something like that, or maybe the first time we see Doomsday's face and it's the Robert Downey Jr. on screen.
Yeah.
I feel like that might get people a little crazy. That's not gonna be like end of Endgame fight scene type of hype, because I don't think there's gonna be much that topples that.
I don't
'Cause
think
it's
in,
just-
in
there
our
was so
lifetime, I don't think we'll
There's
see
just so
something
much
that's as
build
big as
up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just remember the adrenaline I was getting in the theater. Like I couldn't keep my legs still.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I still don't agree with RDJ as Doom. I've voiced that to Jaden many times, but he is a great actor. I really wonder how they're going to attack it. I wonder if they're going to have these actors just act like he's not RDJ and he's not Tony Stark. There's some people that say, Doom, it doesn't really take off the mask. He doesn't show his face a lot, so it won't even matter. But at that point, why not cast a different actor then? If you're not going to show his face, you want to get more money. I get that part, but I don't know. There's also a guy, I watch him on TikTok a ton. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He does like these Marvel theories where he's like, it's almost like he's live streaming. He's reading it off of a chat. They'll be like, oh, what do you think about this one? And he just like breaks everything down, like really well edited, like with this like background music, bro. He had this one Doctor Doom theory, and it like tied into Moon Knight. Where like in the back of Moon Knight, and one of the Moon Knight shots, there's like this castle, and it's like that looks like the castle that Doom is from. It's like it's tied into so many things, but I also don't know if Marvel is that advanced to have that much stuff tied together with how much he was talking about. But yeah, it's a movie that I could see on both ends. I could see it being a really solid movie. I certainly don't think it will be better than Dune just from a movie perspective, plot, writing, dialogue, everything like that. But it definitely has a chance to be ridiculous and one of the craziest, cinema experiences that we will see in our life. So
With that being said, though, I think I would probably have to go Dune. Just to complete the trilogy.
Yeah.
I can't get blue balled on the trilogy like that. Like
Also,
we gotta complete the trilogy.
The one also part that I was gonna say before I ultimately switched back to Doomsday was Marvel has, I'm pretty sure, confirmed that they are doing an MCU reboot in the next 5 years. So like, not that this movie won't matter at all, but a lot of these characters, if not all of them, we're going to be losing soon. And it's like all right, then if we lose him, then that is what it is. And then also, I mean, in that instance, I guess we also lose Secret Wars, because then Secret Wars wouldn't make any sense. But also, I wouldn't, if we're getting a reboot anyway, maybe it wouldn't matter that much. That was one of the reasons why I was potentially.
No, it said, I just looked it up. They said they're gonna do a major reset or a soft reboot following Secret Wars. I could see it after Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is like, it's one of those, like, I mean, not big in the comics. I know about Secret Wars. I don't really know what goes after it, but like, that's like, I don't know. That's like it seems like that's a good way to end everything.
Yeah.
And that movie's gonna be insane. Like, that movie should be close to 4 hours long.
Yeah. That's the other thing about Doomsday. How long is this movie gonna be? Is it gonna be 2.5 hours? Is it gonna be 3 hours?
I think it has to be like 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Hopefully.
We're hype. Are we doing Doomsday?
Probably not.
Yeah, we didn't do.
I don't think it's possible. I mean, we might be able to, but the way it's looking, I mean, I'm trying to get tickets.
It comes out December 18th. What is that? Is that a Friday?
Not sure.
Let me
Probably
see. I can pull
Thursday
it up
or a
real
Friday.
quick. It is a Friday. Yeah, we definitely got to request that day off.
I'm trying to get the Matreon tickets.
That's the San Francisco one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to be like quick
I signed up for the alerts. I made an account with the AMC. Like, I'm trying, but
it'd be rough.
I don't know how quick the Dune ones will sell out. I know Avengers, that's just gonna be, those are gonna be dropping like flies, those tickets. But I also know, like, I don't know, there's a weird like A-list thing with Doomsday.
Sorry about Cuddles going crazy in the back. Somehow it's 11 o'clock at night and she's still doing that.
But yeah, I just know there's an AMC A-list thing, and I think they get early access to the tickets, which I don't have that. That's like the only AMC theater near us, so I'm not going to sign up for that.
Sorry about that cut. We've been going on for way too long. My recording is getting too full, so we got to cut it a bit short. We were going to end it in a couple minutes anyway, but yeah, that's going to do it for us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know your thoughts about our top 10 rankings and then any other topics that we touched on in this episode, and we will see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.